Hey guys, Mono here. Are you tired of winning? Are you fed up with spawning straight into the action? Of not being able to just run around the map for several minutes without encountering any enemies at all? Or maybe you're just a veteran player reminiscing of the days when you were just a little innocent blueberry. Well, then this guide is for you. Here are some tips to make sure you lose every round of Hell Loose as fast as possible. So if you want to be as useless to the team as you can and have the least amount of fun, then pay attention to the next tips. We'll start with one of my favorite tips, which is to create a squad at the start of the game. Then as soon as someone joins, you leave the squad and then rejoin it. This way, you won't have to play Officer, which has some of the best loadouts in the game, but that's not all. Not having an Officer in your squad means you won't be able to quickly spawn at a squad outpost. So you'll only be able to spawn on garrisons, which will basically double the amount of time that you're looking at the deploy screen. And you'll also be spawning further away from everything, so overall, you and your squad will be way less effective than anyone actually playing with a squad leader. And as an added bonus, nobody in your squad will be able to see any markings on the map at all, keeping your map nice and clean so you have the least amount of information about what's going on in the game. Sounds good? Well, I hope it is, because this brings me to point number 2. Don't build any garrisons. Garrisons are the lifeline of your team, so if you want to lose, you want to make sure you have as few garrisons as possible. Ideally 0, but having 1 or 2 will make some players think, that's good enough. When in reality, it's actually a way to trap your own team and concentrate them on the map, making it extremely easy for the enemy to surround you and overwhelm you. Without an officer, you already won't be able to build any garrisons at all, so if you follow tip number 1, you're kind of set for this one. But if you somehow stumble upon the officer role, then don't pay attention to these icons on the map. Those are supplies that you need to build one, so make sure you don't pull out your watch and build one by accident. But let's get back to the start of the round after you've created a squad with no officer. Once you spawn in, it's time for tip number 3. Take the supply truck. The supply truck is incredibly important at the start of the game because it allows you to build 2 attack garrisons extremely fast. Since we want to avoid this at all costs, ideally someone that's not an officer should take the supply truck. However, don't be an engineer when you do this, because it can also be used to build nodes, and you don't want to be doing that by accident. Nodes are completely secondary to garrisons at all times in the game, so you won't really be helping the team much, but it's better if you just take the supply truck as a rifleman, assault, or any of the other just press W and shoot classes. But also keep in mind the next tip, tip number 4, get a late start. The battle for the middle point can define a lot of matches, so if you take any truck, make sure you wait for every single soldier to fill up the truck. If you really want to lose the round, you should be leaving the HQ after the countdown is over. This means by the time your truck is arriving at the middle point, the enemy will already be established and waiting for you to get there. You might even get blown up by a fast recon or light tank, deleting a full quarter of your team with a single shot, which is obviously really good. A late start basically maximizes the chances of losing the middle point without even fighting over it. Remember, it takes 2 minutes to cap a sector in warfare mode, so being late by as little as a single minute already puts your team at a significant disadvantage. Once the match is underway, if you start losing a point and you're far away, don't redeploy. This is tip number 5. Under no circumstances should you press the escape key and hit redeploy. If you redeploy to a garrison close or inside the sector that you need to defend, you will be gaining an insane amount of time. You're basically teleporting across the map, and this is an extremely meta thing to do. All of the best teams, all of the best players do this, so definitely something you want to avoid. If someone asks you to redeploy, then say you don't want to do it because it's not realistic, which we all know doesn't make any sense because the game has no stamina system and you can shoot off a sprint with perfect accuracy, but at that point, they'll probably realize you're an idiot and just stop asking. I almost forgot about this one, but tip number 6, solo tanking. Solo tanking used to be almost viable before they severely increased the time it takes to switch seats, meaning now it's basically impossible to solo tank at all, because if there's anyone trying to destroy you, there is no way you're gonna win. So solo tanking, greatly advised, but if you really want to maximize your chances of losing, then ask the commander for a heavy tank like a Panther or a 76 when you're solo tanking. These cost 600 fuel, which is quite a lot, So solo tanking on one of these makes sure those resources are wasted without getting any value out of them. So yeah, this tactic is extremely effective at torpedoing your own team's chances of winning. And lastly, tip number 7, artillery, which can be absolutely devastating. In some maps, more than others, but specifically at the start of the round when the teams are fighting over the middle point, arriving in their trucks and all, a single artillery shot can take down a whole bunch of people. So make sure you never use the artillery throughout the round. It is by far the best use of munitions. A bombing run is 300 munitions, which is the same as 100 artillery rounds, and I can guarantee you, you will get more kills with 100 artillery rounds than with a bombing run. And that's gonna be it, guys. That's how you increase your chances of losing every single round of Hell Let Loose. As a bonus, you could try blaming stream snipers when garrisons start getting taken down, as this will make it more likely other squad leaders don't learn from their mistakes. Blaming someone else for your own failures is always a great way to stop improving. So think of that as the cherry on top of the wonderful lost round. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, check out the YouTube memberships and all that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one.